Okay, so this is lecture number 2 of the data structure, and to recollect a few things which we did last time, I told you a few things about how data structure are all about. There are types of data structure. Data structure is nothing but how do you organize the information or the data, that is in a linear fashion or a non-linear fashion. And everyone will have its disadvantage and advantages, which we will be seeing in the further topics. Then I also told you about the few applications in the real life, how they are being utilized. Then also the data. Uh, this topic was involving few terminologies in which I have covered up few things like data, then also group of items. For example, date, it is in made up of multiple data items. Then also some elementary items which are the item which cannot be divided further into sub data items. For example, mobile number cannot be divided into further parts. Then we have something called as entity. Entity is something which has a lots of particular parameters with the properties and information. For example, resume. Resume has your personal details, educational details, work experience, and some related information. So we call that as an entity. And all this, when we start putting into a database, we have certain more terminologies also, like field, record, and file, which we have seen last time. Also, we started with something called as a flowchart or algorithm point of view. It was really easy. If you have something to follow in a sequence, and it's called as a sequential logic. This is the way it can be presented in a linear form. And further, we have also related our some of the C++ topics, which we call it as a selective or conditional logic. And first out of that, which we took, is of if statement. If means if something is true, do this, otherwise keep it. But if we see in the if else part, we have tasks to be done in case of true as well as in false. That also we did. Further, we have also covered up something called as repetitive iteration logic, in which if the condition is true or false, in such cases we have to go back and do something else also. And I think I had missed last time to rename this. This was a loop structure. Okay, in which if condition is true, we go inside, again we come back and check the condition, and again if it is true, we repeat it, and we keep on repeating it until and unless it is true. Otherwise, if it is false, we just break the loop. Next, we have done something about the algorithm making, and there are a few algorithms which is going to come to you in your board theory papers also. Out of them, one of that is traversing the array. Traversing the array, I told you one thing simple, that you have to just go through every element of the array, that is every location of the array. Just go through them and do something if you want to, otherwise just go on going ahead. So we noted some terminologies kind of thing in algorithm, so that it becomes easier for us to name them while writing the steps over here. I also taught you last time one of the algorithm of inserting a new element, where we learned about if you want to insert the element, we have to start from that location where do we have to insert, or we have to start from the last location. So we chosen one thing, that we have to shift down every elements and make the space first. So we have started, if you see, we have started last time from the position number last one, that is upper boundary. And what we did, we moved it to the next location, that is seventh one. Then fifth location we moved to sixth, it came here. Then fourth location data we have moved to the next in the 5, that is it came here. And this is the place where it was to be inserted. So inserting location was already given to us by question, that is a k is the location of insertion. So you can see step number y was for inserting the data. So we wrote here array of k equal to data. And finally, after we are done with this, we have to update few array parameters. We did that and we were done. And I told you to do one question of deleting the array element. So uh, to be precise, if we want to delete the element from the array, it was again easier if it is the initial part. And if you want this kind of stuff, it's very easy. Just go on moving the whatever data you want to delete, the next data you can bring it to the previous location. Again next data to the previous location. If you go on doing that and just discard this last location from your mind, you are done with this. So we are going to start with the location which we want to delete. Okay, so first thing, uh, you know set the location at location of delete. Okay, that is we said. Okay, copy next location data to current. That is what we will do. Next, we'll continue until till what place we have to continue. We are at this pointer, let's say. Okay, pointer number 4. So we are here. So we'll start from here basically, and we'll take the next one here. Then we'll come down basically. So let's see. If we come down, that is to the pointer number 5, the next one will bring it here. And if you come to the last location, should you go till there or you should not go? Because after that there is nobody. So we have to work out this thing until ub minus 1. Okay, continue until LOC is less than ub or less than equal to, if you want to showcase, ub minus 1. And lastly, update the array parameters. So I could see many one of you have already done that and send me the answers also, which were perfectly fine. Let's see the steps. So we have started with some terminologies, that what are the methods we are going to go ahead with. So last time, if you see, we have started with the initialization of the pointer. So we will maintain our language so that we develop the same. Initialize the pointer to the first location of the array? No. Initialize the, or I would say set the array pointer to location of deletion. So little bit we can of course modify and we can follow the things. So what is the LOC? LOC will be equal to K. Okay, because LOC we are choosing for the location setting. Okay, if we go next, we have step number 2. Okay, after we are done with this, we have to start shifting the pointers, and that will be having a repetition. So repeat will be there. Repeat step X and X, whatever it is, until UB or LOC is less than or equal to UB minus 1. Okay, step 3. Now we will say copy the data of next location to current location. If we say this, then array of LOC will be getting something from array of LOC plus 1 in this case, isn't it? Okay, this is what we have done. Step number 4 will be what? We have to update LOC. Means LOC should get updated. Update array pointer. Let's see if that is what we have written here. Where is that? We wrote increment or decrement. So we'll say that only. Increment array pointer. That is LOC will be becoming LOC plus 1. And I think after this we are supposed to go back to the upper step. So that will, I'll also write mention here, end of loop of step 2. Now it will go back up and it will again check if the LOC is less than equal to u by minus 1. It will again continue the further, and this will go on happening. And whenever it completes, I think array will be like this only, and we are only remaining with the updation of the array parameters. So we have to do only simple thing. And in this case, step number 5 will be not there because we are not inserting any number. We have to do the updation of array boundary data. So that we'll do here. Now in this case, updation of array upper boundary only will be there. Yes, of course, it will become ub minus 1. Okay, what is the last thing? Size we have to update, isn't it? So that and the ending part. Okay, so let's write that. Step 6 it is, update the array size, that will become n minus 1, and we will end it at that point. So I hope things are easier, you are finding it simple. It's better, more and more you try the things on your own, you will be finding it easier. All right. Now that was the deletion part. We have few more topics also to be covered up for you, but you can try to find it up on your own. For example, you may try for this topic called as, I'll just say, yes, this one. I have duplicated this slide currently, editing these things. Yeah, linear search in an array. Now, what do we mean by linear search in the array? If we want to say linear search, you remember in C++ we have done one program that search the first location of this element, first occurrence. So in that case, what we were doing? For example, in that case, if we had any data to be searched that time, we started from here. We compared this data with the data of A of 1, array of 1. If not found, we gone to the next for comparison. If not found, gone next to the comparison. If not found, still going next to the comparison. And we have gone on doing like this. That means what are we doing? We are checking the numbers linearly. So that program which we did in the C++ was of linear search only. Okay. You just have to write them into the algorithm form and that's it. Okay. So that is what you are supposed to make it in this particular exercise. Yeah. So linear search is there as a one of your board theory question. You also have bubble sort algorithm. So bubble sort algorithm is also something which you have to prepare. You have to write down your or prepare your answers. This also you know very well. We have done once in your previous lectures of C++, of course. So that is what you are supposed to also try. And these all things being a frequently asked question, it's good that you prepare your answers and be ready that what will you be writing for such questions. So you can see data structure, half of that we have already covered up in our C++ topic only. And that's why I was saying that when we do C++, majority of the 12th CS1 we are covering up there itself. Yes, after linear search, if I see here, let's say next one more topic. After linear search, if you want to bring up one more type of a search, then there is one more type of search which is known as a binary search. And that is what I'm going to cover up now. Okay. So I'll do one thing. I'll remove all of this currently because you don't know this method well. So before we start with this method of binary search, binary search has certain requirements. Means if these requirements are fulfilled, then only this search algorithm works. Otherwise, it will not work. Oh, that's very much kind of a choosy thing. That this algorithm works only if he has certain conditions. Then only it works. Linear search did not have any such things. So in that case, linear search is better because it does not have any criteria or conditions to be followed. Yes. So first very important condition is numbers in array has to be in sorted order. Okay. Then we should be aware about that sorting method is which one. What is the order? Order of sorting is to be known. Means it is in ascending order or no or descending order. That is required to be known to you. Then only you can follow this algorithm. Otherwise, binary search method will not work. So in that case, you can understand our method of linear search was very good. Now I'm taking one array over here in front of all of us. I'll just make it up. Okay. So in this array, you can see, let's say these are the elements. Okay, some elements I will be filling up here. I can also go on adding few more numbers in this. Let's say insert. Okay, now there are more elements. And if I want to give the position numbering, you remember that when we were doing the strings topic, that time I was giving from left to right only. So we will be also going to do the same kind of position number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this way I have done. This is one of the case. Okay, now in this particular array example, there would be certain numbers written over here. For example, let's take the elements are in ascending order. So I'm just putting some random numbers currently. Okay, so these are the elements, and notice that all the elements are in ascending order. No elements have been, missed by me to be put in the proper order. Okay, now what this rule says, whatever this rule says, I'll go on noting down over here. Okay, or steps to be precise. Step 1, whatever it is, I'll write down here and we'll follow that. Okay, first thing is we have to mark lower boundary and upper boundary. So that is not a rule anyway, right? That is not a step. That's a simple thing. So let's say here we have something called as LB, correct? That is the lower boundary. Okay. Now if I copy the same thing over here and I'm going to call it as upper boundary. Okay. Now you have to calculate, apply your mathematical brain and tell me which one will be the middle location. You have to calculate mid location of these whole boxes. So if I count this total box, it is 0 to 12 means 13. So middle box would be, if we consider it as a 12 boxes, then 6 one would be, so 3 plus 3 is 6 in total 13. So this is 7th one and 6 there also. I think this is the middle location. But if I ask you to write down a formula, that what would be the formula of mid location, then here also I would say steps are simple. Calculate or mark mid location using formula. It's very simple. Let's say we write, let's say mid is equal to UB plus LB whole divided by 2. I'm not sure if will it be true or not, but you have to think. Okay, we'll every time check this formula whether it is working fine or not, and if it is doing something wrong, we'll correct it. Okay, so for now 12 plus 0 divided by 2, what is coming? 12 plus 0, it is 12 divided by 2, 6. Okay, 6 is the mid location. Fine. Let us check this formula in some other way also. Okay, so let's say if I go beyond this, let's say there are two more boxes, 13 and 14 also. Okay, so in that case it should be 7. So it is 14 plus 0 divided by 2, 7. Yes, fine. Now there is one issue. I'll redraw that issue wala part below here. Okay, if it happens sometime that number of boxes are not odd, it is even, then what would you do? These are the 6 boxes and the other are also 6 boxes. The middle place is actually boundary. So should we mark the boundary? No, we should mark either of them. So let's see what this formula says. It is 11 plus 0, 11 divided by 2 is what? 11 divided by 2. Don't tell me 5.5, okay? Because they are integers. So it comes up to 5. So 5 will be considered as a mid location. That is okay. And we have to just see whether this formula works or not. Okay. Okay. Moving on further. I just delete this for now. You may note it down in your book if you want to. But now I'll just move it further. Yes. This is the mid location. Now what is the step number 2 says is, step number 2 says, check one thing, that check if data at location mid is equal to search element, means number to be searched. It is this only or not? So we will have to think. You out of this all the numbers, you just tell me whichever number you want to search, and I'll just take it up for our this verification. Okay. Okay. So somebody says me. Okay. Somebody has told me like 13 is the number to be searched. All right. I have marked it over there. Now check if this number is equal to search element or not. So here I'm writing if array of mid is equal to search element. Okay. If yes, see what do you think? If that is the number to be searched, don't you think we have found the number and we can just print that yes, number found at location mid. So if yes, okay, here also we can say if true, then print that number found at location mid. This is the one thing we have to do, and we have to do one more thing also. Go to last step, which we don't know right now, but it is an end step. Okay. But what if false? What if false? So now in case of false, we are required to do something. Okay. So I'll just tell you that if this is not the number to be searched, then we have to check some more things. That is this number bigger than the number to be searched or smaller than the number to be searched? So let me see right down here. If false, you have to check if array of mid is it greater than, see it cannot be equal to, so I'm not writing greater than equal to, I'm just writing is it greater than search element. Okay. If true, what should we do? We have to change our new range of search to this particular area. I'll just mark it. If that becomes true, then don't you think, sorry, if that becomes true, then don't you think our next area of search will become this much? Actually, we can omit this all parts, isn't it? Because 45 is anyway not the number to be searched, and if this number is bigger than our number, that means our number is on left hand side, means our number is less smaller than that. Okay. Let me write it in this way. If search element is smaller than array of mid, now it becomes easy for you to reimagine. If search element is smaller than number at mid, then our next range of search becomes this half. So we, in the first cycle only, we will eliminate these all elements, all of these elements. Okay. But let's just see the power of this search, binary search method. What is the benefit of this search method? Is this faster method? Of course, yes. Just imagine if you wanted to search 45, you will get the result in first attempt only. If you will follow linear search in this case, whatever may be the case, you will always go for checking for first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, seventh time. Means this method is 7 times faster than linear search method if number to be searched is this particular one. Okay. And one more advantage here is in the first attempt only we have eliminated half unwanted stuff. So that is also the advantage. Okay. So next time, if this, let's say the number is on left hand side and that is true, then our new range becomes this much. So in that case, I think so, this becomes our new upper boundary, isn't it? This should become our new upper boundary. So I'll just mark it up little lower so that it becomes easier for you to remember. This is our new upper boundary, cycle number 2 for that. And this is anyway a lower boundary still. So I'll also keep it at the same position. Okay. So this is our new range of checks. So here I would say update your this thing. Update or upper boundary is equal to, can you say mid minus 1? Because see here, mid was here, mid minus 1 will be 5. So mid minus 1. And we also have to tell him to go to step, because he has to again check, no? Go to step 3, or sorry, 2, because he has to check again. Okay. So that is what I am going to tell him. Again, repeat the step 2. He will come back here after performing this action. He will again calculate. Okay, sorry. Go to step 1, it will be, because we have to ask him to again calculate mid again, because see this new mid we have to calculate, no? So I'm asking him to go to step number 1. Got it? Okay. So I am right now just doing it, whatever it is. But here we have, remember, we have one more false case to be written, because this false case means that number is on not left hand side, number is on right hand side. If let's say we wanted to find out this green color or yellow color box 74, then our new range would have been this, right? And in that case our LB will be changing. LB will become this 7, mid plus 1. So we can do one thing. I'll just remove this both the steps, or I'll say comma here. Do this and go to step 1, and here also do this and go to step 1. Got it? So in both the case, go to step 1 is of course there. Now let me calculate this mid again. What is the upper boundary? 5. This is 0. 5 plus 0 divided by 2. It will be 2. So I'll do one thing. I'll mark my number here and we'll say this is mid. Okay. So now we again have to check. Check if the data is same. No, it's not. If it's not true. Okay, go to false. If this search element is still smaller than array, yes. Okay. So true it is. So UB will be getting updated once again. So I'll update my UB to this particular point. This will come down here like this. And lower boundary will remain at the same place. This is my UB. All right. Now, what next? We have to go to step 1 again. Fine, let's go. It is 0 plus 1 divided by 2. Means what? What will be mid now? Mid will be 0 plus 1 divided by 2. It will be 0. So in this case, this is the only LB and this is the only mid also. Okay. So is this the number to be searched? Now I'll do one thing. I'll just make little more space. So every times range I'm just trying to mark up. This time it was this much, isn't it? And now we will again calculate the mid. So mid has come this one, which is still not a search element. Okay, go to step 1 again. So step 1 would say that do one thing. If number at mid is not the element to be searched, then check it. Is the search element, which is 13, is it less than array element? Array element is 5. No, it is not less. That means it is a greater. So it is false. It has come here now. Okay. In this case, this number has come at this particular position. So what we would be doing in this case, we'll have to apply that same formula. So let us apply. What is it? New mid. We'll just go here. First of all, this thing was false. We'll come here. It says lower boundary equal to mid plus 1. What is the lower boundary currently? It is here. What is mid currently? Mid is also here. What will be mid plus 1? 0 plus 1, which will be 1. Okay. So lower boundary will be getting updated to this particular position. Okay. Let me bring this over here on the right hand side. So we have one more updation now. Lower boundary has got a new position this time, which is this particular one. That is our new lower boundary. Don't you think UB is also still there, because UB will not change now? Yeah, UB will not change, of course. So okay, that is the lower boundary, that is the upper boundary also. And if you calculate by going to step number 1, lower boundary plus upper boundary divided by 2, it will come the same only. Why? It is 1 plus 1 divided by 2, it will be 1. Okay, so it's good that this time we have taken the worst case only. Okay, we have come up to this last position up to which we were doing this particular stuff. Okay, and you have also learned about the most difficult case. Now if you come here and check if array mid is equal to search element, yes or not? Yes, you have found it. And you will go to step number X, which is an AND. Okay, so that's the AND. So step number 3, also we have to go to some check it at certain place. Okay, but I'll just tell you one more case in this particular stuff now. But I hope you have understood step number. Last step will be stop, which is number found at this position, and we may say, so we can also say that print that number is found already here and it is going to step number X. Now, but the worst case I wanted to bring it in front of you, because this is very important to do before we move on further. Okay, and what is this step? Let me tell you. Suppose the number that you have to, that number you want to search is not 13. Okay, let us choose a number which is not there in this array itself. Then what will happen? Let us try to see. Okay, so I'll just tell you the number called as number 12. Okay, so if we take the number called as 12, then let us try to verify what happens next. Okay, so in that case, if that 13 was there, then we would have got it and we would have printed. But if it is a 12, then what will happen? You will check, oh, is it equal to the search element? No. Okay, so you will come here, you will say is search element, which is 12, is it less than array mid? Array mid is what? 13. Okay, and what is 12? It is less. So he will say, okay, go to the true part and do this particular activity. What is it? Do mid minus 1. UB will become mid minus 1. Means mid is 1, minus 1 will make it go to that particular position. Okay, that means it comes to this point. Just a minute. In that case, UB will come over there. Like this, isn't it? Means in this case, UB is here, LB is here only, same place. But just notice what wrong thing has happened. UB has come on the lower side and LB has gone on the upper side. Both have overlapped each other. That means what? You started from the left extreme and also right extreme, and you have gone on searching them, you did not found, and at the end both of them has crossed each other. That is a clear indication number is not there. Getting me? So that also as a part we have to always keep in the mind before we repeat the loop. Otherwise you will go on repeating. See here, we have written, go to step 1. So here we'll have to write, okay, in case of true, we'll have to write down here that now here we'll check Okay, not here. I'll say this go to step number 1. I'll remove out from there as a common part, and I'll keep it below here. Means compulsory go to step 1, but that too with one if, because in both the case go to step 1 was there. Here I'll put on one if LB is less than or equal to UB, that is true, then only go to step 1. If it is false, if ever this statement becomes false, print that number not found and go to and here you say go to step X, which is an end. Okay, this way this will become possible, and this step 3 is nothing but end. So that will say this is step number 3, of course. Okay, so currently what I have tried to do is I have only tried to explain this algorithm. I have not written the actual algorithm, because for writing actual algorithm you will have to write few more things, set the array location at this, at that, and all those stuffs. You'll have to go on writing that. Okay, but I hope it has become clear to all of you that how this algorithm works. Okay, and you may also enhance yourself towards one more thing, that you will have to, if in case board paper makers gives you this kind of a program to write, then also you should be able to write. It is just if else inside and with the point of loops. Okay, which is what you will have to do on your own, at, or you can just try writing it. You may send me, I can check, I'm ready, I can do that. Or yeah. Okay, so I hope you have understood. If not understood still well, then you can again hear the same thing in the video, and you will be able to understand it well. You may take up few more examples to understand this particular algorithm, so that it comes into your grasp and you understand it well. Now, what next we are supposed to do? So we can go to the another topic of this particular chapter itself, but you can see the type of algorithm which we have. Traversing, inserting, deleting, which is easier. Linear is also easier. Binary is also easy, not a tough at all. The only thing is you have to think of few of these particular things. Okay. Otherwise, things are not difficult at all. Yeah. So next one was bubble sort algorithm, and the another topic which comes up next is, till now we have learned about linear data structure. Array was an example of linear data structure. In the other than array, we have stack and queue memory structure also, which is also there. We have learned about those kind of arrays. In array, what happens is you can go to any location anytime. Stack memory we have seen in 8085. It happens that in stack memory, whatever goes first comes out last. Okay, that is last in, first out. And in queue memory, what happens? Whatever comes in first goes out also first. It's like a queue. So that those two things also you have. But right now I will go into non-linear data structure, and that is very interesting to know about, because this will give you an idea about how the things will become easier for upcoming technologies. So let me tell you. Let's see. Let's say you have this kind of a RAM memory in your computer. Okay, there are lots of boxes in your RAM. Okay, and this is, let's say, your storage memory, which is of course bigger than the RAM memory. Yeah. So what is happening is there is one program written in your storage device, like a C++ program. Okay, and there is a particular code which requires some number of you know uh, memory availability in your RAM. So in case of RAM, you can see, let's say if this RAM is occupied only at all the places except few one. So let me mark up orange color as the occupancy, and I'll mark whatever things are available. So this is available, these two are also available, three available. Okay, this way there are the availabilities. Now let's say this is a C++ program of yours where you have written int a of 20. That means what? You need an array of size 20 or let's say 10 also. When this request goes to the executor, he just goes and check in the memory of the RAM, is there any 10 consecutive memory boxes available? You only see not available. But if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 10 boxes are there free, but not consecutive. So if you just stick with your linear data structure, there will be a day waiting for you in which your RAM will not allow execution of your program. So there is a need that we enter into the non-linear data structure. Let me tell you what is a non-linear data structure basically all about. Okay. In the non-linear data structure, there are basically two fields. I will just write down over here. Where is this? Yeah. Yes. Okay. This way it is. In the non-linear data structure, there are such many boxes. And there is one more box also. Okay. This box is known as start box. Okay. Or it has the starting position of the non-linear data structure. If there is a non-linear data structure, then at least you should know the start and the end. Okay. So it says the starting of this non-linear structure is something which he will be writing over here. But before that, I'll just make the note of few things. Okay. Information for you all is in this particular thing, this particular box, okay, shows the data which is being saved inside it. Means in this box there is a data, okay, and in this box there is a link information. Means this is linked with which other cell, which other box of the memory that is available over here, okay. And here below here I am going to write the address of this particular box in the memory. So this is address, let's say at memory address number 12 is this, okay. So in the start there will be 12. He says the linear structure, this non-linear data structure starts from memory address 12. So if you come into memory address 12, what data will you be getting? Let's say there is a data saved as 5, and it says next data you have to go to position number 47. So there will be something called as 47 in which you can go and see what is the next data. Let's say 7. He says next data is in 32. So 32, sorry. And here, if there is a data, let's say 13, and he says next data is at 65. So this is, let's say, 65. So how is the things are happening? This particular box was linked, okay. This had a link to this box, okay. This has a link further to this box. How? Because this box has a next link as 47. Likewise, this 65 number box has a link of this in the 32 box. That way, now here there is some data called as 44, and the next number of link he is saying that you have to go to the link number 13. So here let's say this is 13, okay. And here we say that let's say the next box availability, This data available in this is 54, and next box he says nothing. Okay, he says 0. That means that is the end of the structure. Means after that there is nothing. Now, if I try to plot this non-linear data structure on the memory like this particular style, okay, then we can understand that in this kind of a memory structure, if we want to implement such structure, then it will be like, not very tedious, but yes, we'll have to do certain activities for the same. So if this is the memory structure, okay, and let me write down few box numbers here. So that is let's say box number 12. I'll remove out all these colored stuff. Yes, you can see I have just marked only those boxes which are into the creature in front of us now. So what is this? This particular location is a start location. So I am marking this as point over here also. Start. Okay. And here it says that the data available in this is 5. Okay. And apart from this particular box, this has also a one more column on its right hand side which stores the linkages. So if I want to mark the names of this particular kind of a data structure, then you can see this is the data column and this is the link column. In this link it says next data is at 47. Okay, so next is it is at a 47. Then from here I'll just start up like that from this particular position, and from that I will go inside these boxes. Okay, and will come out from other side. In this fashion. Okay, I can also draw the arrows if required. Okay, so what has happened from here, there is a link going to this 47th box which is having the data as 7, and in the next one is having a link as 32. So here also it will start from here. Okay, and from 32 it will go to this position like this. In this way. Okay, so that has been linked to 32, and this 32 is having the data called as 13, and next link is 65. So this 65, I think we all should mark this particular stuff also with arrow so that it becomes easier for us to see. Okay, so this 65 is from here is coming up there, and from here it is going down over there. So let me say that will go down like this to the 65th box. Okay, and this 65th box, I'll also color up few things so that it becomes easier for you to understand. This red box from here was coming up there, and it was going to the box number 47. Then from 47, this box, this color came. Let me mark it in blue color, a different blue, and this one will be, let's say, black. Yeah, 65 number box, data is 44, next link is 13. Okay, so from here he has to go all the way around to 13. Okay, and also expand it like this. Okay, from here it is going to 13. So color of this can be green, and this also. Okay, and from here it has come to 13. 13th box is 54, and that is the end of this particular link. Okay, so from here I am marking up one point and I'll call it as end. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's it. Okay, so what happens is this particular methodology of linking has made the array possible. Is it not an array? It is an array. Is it not following sequential logic? This is also following sequential logic. But are these number really stored in a sequence? No. Only storage is not in sequence. But functionality is happening in sequence or not? So answer is yes. All the functionalities following up is happening in sequence. That's why it is a linear data structure only, but not a linear look and form or linear. That's why the name is non-linear, but without the breakage of our requirement. So if this kind of challenge would have come, then computer will do linking of this different green boxes and make this program run perfectly. And this particular structure which I have written in front of you is famously known, and it is very frequently asked board question called as linked list. Linked list data structure this is, and in this particular example which I have explained you just now, remember that this upper one which I have explained to you is a linked presentation or linked representation, which they also ask you in the board papers. Draw the linked representation, and they may draw they may give you this particular lower diagram and they ask you to draw a linked representation. And if they give you linked presentation, then they will ask you to draw memory representation of a linked list. So you have to draw exactly this kind of stuff only. You may refer a few board papers and you will understand what their question are and what are they expecting as a answer also. Okay, so very frequently asked board paper question and very easy to score for you. Please do not lose this particular topic which is available for you to score easily. Okay, yes. So moving on further, what next do we have? We have one more non-linear data, structure also. Where is that? I wrote something here. No, it has gone. Linked list. Okay. Another one is, as I have shown in the first lecture itself, you can see this particular tree structure which is available, in which everyone is having the parent and child hierarchy. That is the another one. We call it as a tree structure, and that is also frequently asked question, but not as much as linked list is asked. But tree structure is also been asked. So if somebody asks me what is a tree structure, so in tree structure we have something called as parent node, and below them we have interconnectivity with the child nodes. Okay, so I may draw it like this. Similarly, this one. So this particular node, the topmost node, we can call it as a parent node, and the lower nodes are called as child node. We have further more terminologies also, which I will be covering up one by one to all of you. So now let's see the first one. But remember that whatever names I am going to cover up to you, all of you are going to be having the names similar to the ones which are available in the trees also. Okay, so let me first expand this structure little more. So I'll do it this way. So this is the one. Yes, sorry. Okay, so this one. Okay, so now we can see now the tree is little bigger in the size and shape, and there are different types of nodes are also available in front of us, all of visible on the screen. Now, if I want to ask you that if it is a tree kind of a structure, okay, and if I want to ask you who is the root of this node, root means the node from where this tree is beginning, then can we say this topmost node is the root node? Root node is a node which does not have any parents. Simple. Okay, so that is a root node. But what would be called as a leaf node? Leaf means leaves. So if you look at the tree, leaves are the only the elements or the fruits from where further branches does not emerge. So if you see the last particular places, there are this node, this particular node, and this node also. These are such a nodes from where more branches are not coming out. Okay, let's say if this last node also comes out with some one more branch, then he is no more a leaf node. Okay, so if I want to say who is a leaf node and who is a root node, so root node I'll just right now mark it as with the brown. Leaf node I am trying to mark it up with the green color. Okay, as a leaf node. I hope you have understood the meaning of leaf node and this node. All right. Now, there are few more nodes also, which we can call it up as a child node. The nodes which are reachable from the node, from the node, let's say in this particular case, if we have say a child node, how old are the child node? So we can say any of the node can be called as child node except root node. Every node is a child node because it has emerged out of the some or the other parent node. And if we say sibling nodes can also be the nomenclature, but sibling nodes are only those nodes which have the same parent. That is all a very simpler stuff to express about. So in that case, I will not write down the names because or colors, but all except the brown is the child node, you can say, and sibling nodes are the nodes under the same parent, of course. So it was not something very much a mysterious thing or very big thing, but this kind of a tree structure will be helpful where you will very soon learn about those things. Okay, and that kind of structure can never be stored without help of this tree structure. Okay, now there is something called as the levels of the tree also. If this is a tree structure, there are something called as the levels of the tree. For example, this particular level is called which level? So this is called as a level 0, zeroth level. What is this level? So you can say this is the level number 1. If I go further down, we can say this is the level number 2 and level number 3. So these are kind of a levels of the tree. You have to draw it very well. You cannot draw very much with a lesser distance somewhere and higher distance, otherwise you will not be able to understand all these terminologies. Then people also ask us about what is the depth of this tree. Are you able to understand when somebody says depth or the height of the tree? Then it's simple. Total number of levels which are available here is nothing but the depth of the tree. That is the one way to express that. Or if you want to put it in the formula, then largest level plus 1, if you do, you get the depth of the tree. Okay. So if I want to write down about the depth of the tree, depth or height of tree, here we can say it as total number of levels is a one way to express that. Isn't it? Next, another way to express the same thing is this depth or level of the tree, largest level of tree plus 1. What is the largest level? 3. 3 plus 1, 4. What are the total number of levels? 4. In both the things gives the same answer. Okay. Now, if somebody asks us, see what is the degree of this tree? Okay. Then degree is called as the, we have to express it in terms of the number of child tree which emerges out from any node. Whichever is the highest, that becomes the degree. Okay. So for example, if I want to write down about this all the levels, okay, let's try to write down the maximum degree of anybody. So degree level here from this root node is what? 2, because from that one node 2 were coming out. But if you come down from this blue and this blue also, this level, this is having 1 degree, this is having 2 degree. So here also we have 2. Here also we have, here in this level we have 0. This doesn't have any child, so 0. Here we have 1. So degree 1, and here we have degree 0. So what is the highest degree, or what is the degree of the node in this case? So it is the highest number of child nodes with any node of the tree. I'm trying to write it down in the more of in the textual form so that you can understand more easily and you can derive it easily whenever you have to. Okay. So that was all about this kind of degree. There can be any number of nodes which can come out from any place. Okay. So let's say if I want to mark up like this, so then here we have a degree 0 only, but here we got a degree 2. And if in case I go ahead here also one more place, okay, and I try to mark up in this fashion, then what happens? What is the degree of this particular node? It is 3 now. So this kind of trick is also perfectly fine. It depends on what kind of tree are you making into. Okay. So these are the different terminologies available in the trees. Now I'll go to the next slide. Okay. Copy the same thing on the next slide. Okay. Now there is something called as under the topic of tree structure. We have a types of tree. In this maximum famous tree is binary tree. Binary tree is a tree which, let me write down separately. The tree is called, a tree can be termed as binary tree if the maximum number of, or maximum degree, let me be more technical now because you have learned it, degree of the tree is 2. Simple, isn't it? What do we mean by that? There can be nodes which have no child nodes. There can be nodes which can have a two child nodes. There can be nodes which have one child node also. So that is what we call it as a binary tree. Okay. So binary tree can this be a binary tree? No. We have to remove this one at least, so that this will become this kind of stuff. Okay, this will become a binary tree. If I remove this particular thing, means there is a degree 1 also. Is this still a binary tree? Answer is yes. It is less than or equal to 2. Okay, that's how it is called as a binary tree. Okay, now let's say we want to find out certain relations. Let me really delete all this stuff from now and make some place for all of us. Okay, so now let's say we have this particular tree with the depth. So let's say I'll just remove this one because I want to explain you something. Okay, is this a binary tree? Yes. So if I want to say that particularly if this binary tree has how much depth, then what is your answer? So I can write down here how much is the depth in this tree. Depth is visible as 1, 2 and 3, right? Depth or the height is what? Total number of levels. That's easy it is, right? Yes. Then if I want to, let's say, find out, okay, that what are the total number of nodes in this tree, then how can we find that out? Total number of maximum nodes possible in binary tree with the depth of 3 will be how much? So you know very well that if this is the only depth we want to keep, you can see there is one more place. From here also one more can emerge out, which I have not done, but I can do it for all of us. Okay, so you can see maximum number of nodes which can come in this kind of binary tree, which is called as a complete binary tree, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is a one formula for that same. It is 2 raised to n minus 1, where this n will go to the power. Okay, 2 raised to n minus 1. Okay, here what is n is the depth. If you want, I can also write it 2 raised to d also. Depth minus 1. I can write 2 raised to depth minus 1 also. If you write down further, it will become 2 raised to 3, which is 8. 8 minus 1, 7. So can you see these are 6 and this is the 7th block? Yes. So in your paper, in your CS paper, they also often ask you one question, that there is a complete binary tree available which has total this many nodes. Okay. Then what is the depth of that binary tree? Reverse also means they have given you the number of nodes and they have asked you to find out the depth. So that is possible. Left hand side will become is actually given to you, so you can calculate that. Okay, let me tell you few more questions which they may ask you and which are the bonus question for you to do in your this particular chapter. I'll copy all this here also. Okay, now in your board paper what comes is a very a very interesting question for you to score your marks. They give you one equation here. They let's say give you draw the binary tree for below or for first one. They tell you to draw it for, let's say, a plus b whole divided by 2. Only this much. I'm going very slow actually. Okay, and they give you this kind of a question in your paper, then how will you be drawing? So it's very simple question. I can tell you, you can take such one of the binary tree Okay, in the as per the board mass rule, whoever is going to get executed last will become top, will become a root node. Who will be getting executed last? I think division sign. So in your paper you are not supposed to use colors, of course, so never do that. So this one will become, sorry, yeah, this one will become division signs. Left side will and right side. Now right side is what? 2. So okay, I'm marking 2 here. This one will become what? So here it is something plus something, means plus will happen first, or a plus b, and then a plus b will happen. So for that, here I can write only plus, and here I'll say it is a, and this is b. You can see a plus b whole divided by 2. So that is the binary tree of this, and you get 3 marks. Yes, you are hearing me perfectly. You get 3 marks. You have to draw this fully using black pen. Okay. So never lose such questions. Okay. Now next binary tree. Let's give you another one. So if they give you a question, let's say a minus b, then y is equal to a minus b square plus c into d. Okay. Now I've given a little complicated one also. Okay. This kind of question has come. So out of this, which one will be getting executed last? Ekdam se last. So I know when any one of you will be starting focusing on plus sign. Answer is wrong. Equal to will be getting executed last. So there will be equal to sign. Then left side will be y. Okay. And after y there is nobody. Okay. I'll delete everyone. So this way it will be till now. What next? So this one. It is now right hand side, means this whole thing is still pending. So it is having the plus sign. Okay. Plus sign. Now left and right is something. Right is simple. Right is having the asterisk, and below asterisk we will have one few more things again. So like this it will be, and this one will be C, and this one will be D, C into D. But problem lies here now. Okay, now there is something square. So how do we write such kind of stuff? So you can either write this kind of upper arrow sign, okay, and make this little bit away from this particular thing so that you can draw it much better. Now here onwards we can draw it in a good way. Okay, it is something square. Okay, so it is square. So I have written here, and this is something minus something. So this will be minus, and there will be A and B. So that way we have completed a binary tree of this particular one also. I hope you have understood this question well. Okay, was it easy? Yes, right? Okay. So about this kind of question, if it comes to you, you should be able to do it further in a proper way. They may also call you or tell you to draw, kind of a linked presentation of any of this question. For example, you are supposed to draw the linked presentation of this particular one, means linked list type. Okay, I'll say this same thing here. Linked presentation of tree means for this tree particular. Okay, so if you are required or they have been asking you to draw the linked representation of such tree, it's simple, not a difficult at all. You have to draw the structure of 3 boxes. and that's it. It will be easier. Let me just draw it in front of you and explain you. Once you understand it, you will find it easier. Okay, so here you will have to definitely write down from top to bottom. Let's say this is the equal to sign. So right now I'm writing the linked representation, so I don't have to worry about those memory structure joining every one of them. Okay, equal to sign. Then equal to sign, I'm going below like this from that. Okay, and this is what? Y. Who are coming from that? Two things. One was that, other is this plus sign. Now what I'll do is I'll join them. Okay. How will I be joining it? I'll show you. Okay. So here on this side, I'll be adding up a dot kind of thing, not an arrow this time. Is there a dot? Okay. Let me bring the arrow first and then I'll add a draw dot. So arrow type. Yeah. So has dot came? Yes, but it has come reverse. Okay. Now it is possible? Yes. And here also there will be a kind of a dot or arrow. So here there will be an arrow, not a dot. Okay. So this way we all are supposed to draw these kind of, presentations. I hope you got this. Okay. But it has to end here or on the C. So 1 minute. Yeah. So this way we can do this. So here you can see I have connected both of them. Now I have to go on doing this thing like this only. And in case if Y is not having any trees further, I can put a cross here. Okay, it is that easy. Now it will become easier for me to go further because from plus sign I have to go to this upper arrow and this asterisk. So I'll just do one thing. Wait, I'll show you. What am I going to do? Like this. And here is the asterisk sign. Okay, further also there are things. So I'll go there further also, and this will be equal to, or sorry, upper arrow sign. Okay, now I'll move further. I'll just group this up. Yeah. It may happen that you are in a lack of space, so you can also reduce down the sizes. So same I am going to do now. I'll bring it very much closer. Yeah. So below this there was this particular number 2 here, then cross, and here there was minus sign, and of course 2 more % to get added below that. So we'll do that like this. Sorry, what did I do? I did not want this. Let it just come extra. Okay. So from minus sign A and B is coming out. So A here, B here, This will be having cross, and this is also cross. So that way we have completed that particular portion. So similarly here I need only two particular places. So I'll do one thing, I'll just reduce down the size of this so that we can focus on this particular also. Yeah. So what is required here is this logic. Okay. So here it will be C, X, X, sorry, and this will be D. So we have implemented linked presentation of that binary, and we'll also add one more particular stuff, which I generally call it up as, we'll show you it. So this is nothing but a kind of a root only, but let me show you. Okay. So that way we have completed this particular binary tree linked presentation. Okay. So that was the root. From root we are starting up, and this is the way we have said that this completes properly. Okay. So this is the way this kind of question may come up to you in your board papers, and you should be able to make them up well. All right. They may also ask you to draw, memory representation, link the memory representation of this only. So in that case, we do not need to draw all these things, of course, and we already have that kind of a binary structure in front of us. But I have never seen till now that they have asked any such questions. But still, if they want to ask, it's not difficult at all. This one you will find it more convenient. Only thing is I am not going to draw that those kind of connecting arrows, because here if we draw that, it will not become understandable. So it will be this kind of arrow itself. In this case, it's much simpler compared to the earlier part. Here also we have a data, and we have, instead of a link, we call it as a left and right. Okay, and these boxes numbers are anyway not there, so we can go on writing normal numberings. Let me show you. I'll insert one more column to the right hand side, expand this, left information and right information. Okay, now what will happen is, here the numberings will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and so and so. Like this. All right, now suppose you want to start, then in that case you will have to definitely have a root node, of course. So we can say this is a root node. For example, we can choose any of the root node and go on doing the stuff. Now if this is your root node, what was the information in that? Equal to sign, and you have to take a left and right hand side. So let's say left one, you take it as a box number 1, then in there you can go and write down y over here. Okay, and is there any left or right of that? No. So if the case you receive any time, okay, where we do not have anything of left and right, so here we cannot put x, of course, we will put zeros. What next? Do we have a right hand side of that? Yes, plus sign we want to choose. So we can, let's choose a plus sign, this one, and let's write down its address over here as a 3. Okay, so we are done with this particular row. We can go ahead for the plus sign. From the plus, we want to go to left and right. So we have to choose this upper arrow. Let's say I have chosen this as a upper arrow, and over here as a asterisk. Okay, what are these numbers? 9 and 13. So I'll just say 9, 13. Okay, now just think about this upper arrow now. It is having the two particular things, minus and 2. So minus and 2 we have to choose somewhere. Let's say minus here and 2 below only, which is 10 and 11. Done. And after minus and 2, 2 is having nobody. So 0, and 0. Minus is having some bodies A and B. So let's say I write here A and below B, which is 7 and 8. 7, 8 are done, and A and B will not be having anything, so 0, 0, 0, 0. See, I am choosing any kind of locations. That's the benefit of non-linear data structure. Okay. Now about asterisk, we have not done anything. C and D only we want. So I'll prefer C and D below only, which is 14, 15. This is not going to have anybody. And here I'll just say 14 and 15. Here we do not have to say anything called as, where to go next. All right. So this way we can go on doing up this stuff, and we can draw the memory presentation also of a tree. I hope you have understood the things. Yeah, once you draw the things, you don't need to explain anything. So this chapter is really very scoring, and if you do it the way things well, it will be easier for you to go ahead and score those marks, because you will be getting theory questions as well. If any new theory questions comes up and which you do not need to answer, I think data structure will be very easy chapter for all of you, because it is very closer to C++ and coding. All right. Yes. So is that the end of this chapter? Yes, answer is that. That is the end of the chapter. All right. So my request is you go through every board papers and read the questions. Okay.